Hello, and a warm welcome to our show, Love Athletics. In this program, we bring you the latest highlights from our sport with expert input from different continental areas. And we're delighted to have as our guests today, former athlete refugee team member Domnic Lokinyomo Lobalu and coach Marcos Hagman. Hello, Domnic. Hello, Marcos. Lovely to see you, and a big thank you for joining us.
Hello to you.
So Domnic created quite a sensation when he won the Diamond League meeting in Stockholm at the end of June, and he continued with a very solid season. So we're thrilled to be able to speak to both of you. So let's start with Domnic. The first time I met you was in April 2017, when you were in the Bahamas as part of the refugee team 4x800 meter team. What do you remember from that first international competition?
I think I can. The only thing that I remember the competition. It was a great journey also, since we start from Kenya. Then the time that we arrived there, I think it was a good thing. So the only thing that we didn't know how to change the button and also how to start. So that was so we didn't think about this, to change the button and also to start. So the competition, it was a nice competition. So although we disqualified. So the guy who was starting, I think he got the injury. So because the reason why we only go, we are four. We are only four. We didn't have someone who can, the option, when one gets injury, we can put the other one. Then we said okay, if you have the guy who got injured, so we said we cannot postpone it. This is the only chance. We never know if we'll get another one. So let us try. So the result, it went well, but we disqualified. I think it was a good thing for us, is also the experience. And also, I was the last one to finish the heat. Then, when I was coming to the finishing, the whole stadium was cheering me, was standing up. So it was a good feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All the other teams were at the finish line waiting for you and clapping. This one was taken in the call room just before the start of the race. So when you were all focusing together, that was a cool picture.
Yeah, I think this was in the dressing room before we come in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, before going onto the track.
Yeah.
Now, Domnic, tell us, how had you come to be part of the refugee team?
I started joining the team when I was in Kenya, because it was far away from Gong. I was living in Thika. So that's why I was schooling there. Then I met the team. The coach, I met the coach there. So I was doing 5,000, but I didn't know about the team that they have. They have the team for the refugee. So Angelina, I think you know Angelina. Angelina was the one coming to me and said, this is our team. But the coach, he came to me first. He was talking to me and said, okay, are you the refugee? Then I was like, yes, I'm one of them. But then he told me, maybe we can talk later. We will call you. So that's how I joined the team. So it took a time, then they called me back. So I joined the team 2016.
Okay, so you were in Thika. You were not in Kakuma or in Dabab.
No, I was not in Kakuma. The Kakuma, I was in Kakuma before. Then we come to Nairobi for the schooling when we were kids.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's great. And then in May 2019, you moved to Switzerland. Tell us, how did things go there?
In Switzerland? I think it's a good thing also. Sometimes it's a challenge. So the decision that I took, it was really hard. So then I was like, let me try. If it will not work, the life that if I go to Kenya is still the same. So I can try here to see if it's bad or not. Let me see through experience. So I took the decision, then I just kept going out I don't know where I'm going. So we walked the whole day from sick to sick. No food, no word. With the bag. The bag was too heavy. I was like, or I put on the clothes, then I throw the rest. So the bag was too heavy and it's getting cold. It's getting cold. It was too cold also, the windy. Then we move. I think I get the guy. There was a guy from, he's from, I think from Tibet. I'm not remembering that well. He mentioned some country, but it's from Asia. So this was the guy he helped. Then he told me, okay, we have somewhere the place for Red Cross in Geneva. So we went there to the Red Cross. The place was already full. So you have to book it before. So the place was booked. It's full. So the guy who was working there, he told us, okay, the only thing, you have to come back at 8 if you can have the chance. But we are not sure. So after that, then we sleep there for 3 days. Then we moved to the asylum camp. Yeah.
Okay. Now, how did you get from Geneva to St. Gallen?
No, I moved to border to Italy. So the camp that I was there. So that way I do my process for the asylum. So after they accept me, then they send me to St. Gallen.
Okay. Now, on the day before the Monaco Diamond League meeting, we had an interview with you, and this is what you told us about how you met your coach.
So they called the coach. So my coach, the first thing that they're telling, they say, we have the black guy here. He always disturbing us. He want to run. Then the coach say, everybody want to run. So they say, everybody like to run. Maybe you can tell him to come. So this guy, he organized the ticket, then he told me, just go. So I entered the train. I don't know where I'm going. So I went to the city. I took the bus. I think we get lost like 3 times. Then we reached there. So we saw the guy who was coming. So I didn't have anything for the training, any shoe, any clothes. Just use the normal shoe. Then I said, for the first time, they are doing for ride. So I joined them in the training. So we start training, but he didn't believe me. They say, this guy is just a normal runner. He will not make it. Then he checked my time for the World Championship. Yeah. It was 3 minutes. He said, this is ladies' time. This is ladies' time. I said, okay. So with the time it will come. So in August, that was August. In September, he organized the race, the road race. It was 6K. So this way I break the course record for the race. Then he organized another one. It was 8K. The 8K, I was finished third. So the one guy from Ethiopia, he beat me. Now I told him, now this is only 8K. And you have 17K. 17K, you are not going to make it. And this guy who beat you, he will be there. I said, okay, just talk to the organizers. If they can give me the chance, I will try my best. They said, no, this place is too hilly. For you, it's not going to work. I said, is it 17K? They say, yes, it's 17K. And it's hilly. He said, yes, it's hilly. Okay, just do it. So this guy, he organized. My coach now, he organized. Then I went there. He just said, just go and try your luck. If you win, I'm sure you are not going to win this race because they have a lot of guys, they're stronger. I said, okay, we will see. So when I went there, I ended up winning. So he was like, okay, you win 17K. How did you do it? You beat this guy who beat you in 8K. I said, this is long distance. And also it is hilly. For me, I think I feel more comfortable with a lot of hilly because in Kenya we have a lot of hilly. Yeah. I said, okay. That's how I end up now. From this meeting, he start now trust me. So now he comes closer to me. We work on together.
So Marcus, we heard Domnic speak about your first encounter. Can you please tell us what you thought when you first met him?
When I first met Domnic, I saw a reserved, very quiet man, without many words, and you could feel that deep inside he had a big passion for running, but he was not talking at all. So we did what we always do. I let him run. You have to let a runner run. And when he was running, I saw that his body and also his mind was still suffering from his story, but I didn't know the story yet back then. And so he started running, and after the first 100 meters, I realized, wow, this guy is something special. This is the first time I met Domnic.
Wow, so already from the very first time, so you realized that Domnic was special?
Yes, this is what I always tell people. He was running only one turn, 100 meters, and you could see even his body was weak and he was suffering, but how he was running, the movements, how he stepped on the ground, you could see there is a huge talent. And how he proved in the last 3 years, I was right.
Fantastic. Thank you, Marcus. So we'll come back to hear more from our guests, but let's take a look now at what's been happening in the sport over the last fortnight. Here are the top picks from the last 2 weeks, starting with road events. On 23rd October, the Valencia Half Marathon took place in Spain. So among the men, Kenya's Kibiwot Kandie, the 2020 winner in Valencia, in a time that was then the world record, regained the title with 58:10, the second fastest time this year. Ethiopia's 2019 10,000 meter world championship silver medalist, Yomif Kejelcha, was second in 58:32, while Kenya's Daniel Mateko, who was eighth over 10,000 at the World Championships in Oregon, completed the podium with 58:40. Now, this is not among the top athletes, but it is interesting to note professional cyclist Freddie Ovett, the son of the great miler Steve Ovett, who was 800 meter Olympic champion in 1980 and a multiple world record holder, also ran in Valencia, clocking 71:44. But the best thing are the thoughts that he shared on Instagram. Here is what he said: "Love the atmosphere at these events. People chasing goals together in a happy and healthy way. Infectious. Anyone wanting free inspiration, find a mass start event and dive in head first." So true. Thank you, Freddie Ovett. In the women's race, Germany's Constance Klosterhalfen created a sensation, taking a surprise victory in her debut at the distance. Klosterhalfen clocked 65:41, ahead of Ethiopia's Tsige Gebreselama, a former world under-20 and world cross bronze medalist, with 65:46, and Howie Faisa with 66 flat. Klosterhalfen's mark was the third fastest ever by a European woman and is the 9th best mark of 2022. And the performance also allowed her to become one of only 3 women to have run the 800 meters under 2 minutes and the half marathon under 66 flat, after Sifan Hassan, whose 800 meter PB from 2017 is 1:56:81, and Genzebe Dibaba. After a disappointing world championship, where she was eliminated in the 5,000 women heats, Klosterhalfen redeemed herself by taking the European title at the distance after a 4th place in the 10,000, but the Valencia performance is her best of the year. The following week, on 30 October, Frankfurt Marathon took place. In the men's race, Kenya's Brimin Kipkorir Misoi won in 2 hours 01:11, ahead of compatriot Samuel Nyamaye Mailu, 2:07:19, and Ethiopia's Derese Gelete Ulfata, 2:07:30. Among the women, it was a podium sweep for Kenya, led by 37-year-old Sally Chepiego Kaptich, the 2001 under-18 3,000 meter champion and the 2014 World Half Marathon bronze medalist in 2:23:11. Over 2015 world silver medalist Helala Jeblagat Kiprop with 2:24:40 and Jacqueline Chepengeno 2:25:14. Other marathons on the 23rd October in Ljubljana. Ethiopia's Siranesh Yirga took the women's race in 2:21:08, a big PB and the course record, while compatriot Gebretsadik Ibraha also took a clear victory among the men in 2 hours 06:09. In Linz, Austria, it was another Ethiopian victory as Fikre Bekele was the first across the line in 2:06:13 at the Linz Donau Marathon. A day earlier on 22 October in Hole, Norway, at the Hittenplan mile 10-kilometer race, victory went to Norway's Narvegilje Nordas in 28:18, followed by compatriot Abdullahi Dair Rabi in 28:23, Eritrea's Awet Kirab Naftalem 28:26, and Joel Ibler Lileso from Denmark with 28:38. Rabi, who represented Somalia until September 2021, and Lileso, the 2021 European under-20 5,000-meter champion, are now numbers 2 and 3 in the European under-20 all-time lists behind Jakob Ingebrigtsen. We will soon continue with news from cross-country and other recent athletics events, but it's now time to come back to our guest. So Marcus, you already told us that it was really from the very first time after just 100 meters that you realized that Domnic had great talent. So I'm totally impressed by that. Now, in Monaco, we had asked Domnic about, of course, his mega breakthrough race in Stockholm Diamond League. And this is what he told us.
After all this, so this one for Stockholm, to get in the Stockholm, it was not that easy. It was really hard also to get in there. So this is how it worked.
So it's your coach who contacted the organizers and told them, look, I have a really good athlete?
For Stockholm?
For Stockholm.
No, it was not my coach, it was someone. There is a lady who is working with, she was a media.
Ah.
Yeah, it's a media, and also he's going to, so they get him in there to work. And also he's also working with our club.
Okay.
So that's how I get the connection.
All
So
right.
we get that connection, we talk to the organizers, they take their time, they say, no, this guy is too slow, we cannot allow him to come. So I did, because I was having that 7:49 in 3K, that was last year.
Yeah.
Then also I have, this year I ran for 8:14. They say this guy is too slow with 8:14. This was last year. At least last year he was doing well. But this year he ran 8:14. This was 3 months.
Before, right.
3 months before. They said we are not going to allow him. So I did 10K, 10,000. So I ran 27:58. They said, okay, it is good, but not, it's not that easy. Then I did 1,500, I ran 3:39. And I said, okay, I think he can make it. So that's where they give me the chance. Well, they told me after 1 week that, okay, we enter you in. 1 week. So this 1 week, I decided, okay, this is 1 week. Where I'm staying, it is getting hotter. Let me go to St. Moritz. So I left to St. Moritz for 5 days. These 5 days, then I came down. I went to Stockholm. So in Stockholm, I was like, okay, I saw the list. All these guys are very strong. So what should I do? And this is the only chance. And the coach told me, if you are not going to run well, this is the only chance. They will not give you any chance. So you have to fight for your chance. Just end up top 5, between 1 to 5. End up there. Don't need to struggle, don't focus with number 1. And also don't go in front. Then I said, no. You told me in Berlin to stay behind. Then the guy there won. He said, let me try my luck. But he told me in my heart, I said, no, I'm not going to follow this route. I'm just going to do my own training. So I end up there in the starting line. So I was like, okay, this is the end of it. And this is the only way to achieve my dream. So the first 400, it was like, these guys are jogging. Why the pace is too slow? I didn't feel it. So okay, maybe it will be hard. So for me, I don't like to see the line. I always run looking down. So then I use the pacemakers because they have two.
Yeah.
The first guy, he dropped out after 1K. I know, okay, now we remain with 2K. Then the guy, he dropped, say, okay, this is only 2.5 laps. I'm still in the Quebec. So I said, this is the only chance. Let me fight for top 3. I don't tie for top. So when they start for kicking for 200, then I saw the guys that are like, okay, this is Kiplimo. Let me fight for position 2. Position 2, then in the 300 meter, the first 150. I see Kiplimo is looking back. When he starts looking back, I say, this is the only chance. This guy is getting tired.
Yeah.
This is the only chance. So if he could not looking back, I could have leave it.
Yeah.
Once he looked back, I said, this is the chance. That is it. So I just get the motivation from there. Then I win it, yeah.
So I love that interview, especially how Domnic understood when Jacob Kiplimo was looking back that he was tiring and decided to attack. So Marcus, how important is it for an athlete to have this kind of tactical intelligence to be able to read a race?
Well, this is very important. I mean, there are so many guys running fast. As long as you have a pacemaker and you can just follow, this is easy. But if you go for championship or for open races, you have to read the other runners. And even if you talk about Stockholm, me as a coach, I was not satisfied about his tactical way he ran. We talked a lot about that. When he was going for the last lap, he was like position 7, 8 meters behind Kiplimo, and this guy is kicking, trying to run 65, and Domnic is still far behind. So he still has to improve a lot by tactical running. But when I look back 3 years ago when he was running his first 800 meter here and the junior championship, it was horrible. He had no idea how to run. And he got catched after 400 meters again, then he pushed again. And the good thing is he can read the athletes, and I teach him how to run on the track, and he improves very fast. And this is what makes it so interesting.
Definitely, and I mean he's very young on the international circuit, so lots of things to learn still, but he's a good learner.
Exactly, especially when you see how many years when you start running, there's not so many years. Yeah. If you compare to other runners with 24, they're already running for 10 years, 15 years, and he started running very late. So he's like a junior in running. And this is what makes it even better.
Exactly. So let's go back to Domnic. Domnic, can you tell us about the Diamond League race in Monaco, how that went?
I think in Monaco, it was a nice race, but according to my highlights, I think I did some mistake that we came and realized after. So it was too hot, and also I used the oil. So in the dressing room, I see no one was coming closer to me using the oil. I think they knew that, okay, this guy is using the oil. He doesn't know the temperature here. So I used the oil. Then after going out, it was too hot. When I was running. So mostly, if I use my oil,
tell us exactly what the oil was for.
I don't know. It's just something I don't know. I think something that I have it in my mental that if I use the oil, it make my muscle to be relaxed. So this is what I used to have. So sometimes my coach also, you have to control it. So in competition, if I go, I don't feel comfortable if I don't use the oil. So if I put the oil, I feel more comfortable. So I realized in Monaco, the time that I use it, so I think that was the one thing that made me to be slower. So it was too painful. I didn't get the oxygen, it's too hot. So I suffer a lot. I think it's a good thing. to learn.
Exactly. We were talking about learning experiences, and Monaco was one of them. So no more oil when it's really hot then.
Not anymore.
And what about the following Diamond League race in Brussels?
The Brussels also, it was a nice place, a nice track, but it was a little bit harder. So that was also the first 5,000 that I was like, this is the only one. Let me try to follow them. Because the guys that are pushing a lot, they say, let me just stay to follow. The pace in front is too high. And also I was coming direct from the altitude in Tangurit. So my coach told me, you have to run your pace, but with the altitude that you have it from there, I don't think you can achieve the performance, the good performance, but it will work in Zurich. So this was the thing that he told me. Then it went the way it was gone. I think I was happiest by the end of it.
Now, with those 3 great races, even though you were not too happy with some of them, you qualified for the Diamond League finals in Zurich. Tell us about that.
It was a great feeling, when I see the list that I'm inside. So
yeah.
The time I come back for the training, I was like, my mind was ringing about the trophy. It's not, I just said, this is the trophy, this is it. This is what I was looking for. So the time I saw it when they were running the Diamond League, they win. So I wish one day I have to perform, to run on these places. So after I qualified, so my mind was only to do it. I said, I'm going for the trophy. The only thing, it was the trophy that ringing in my mind.
Now, I heard something about laps and counting laps on this 560 meters track, which was a bit confusing.
I think I confused because normally, if it is the normal track, you have to see if it is 11. But I saw it is 10. Then I was like, it's too early. 10? You cannot give it. We still have 1 lap. But I forgot the track was for 500 meters. And also it is 8 lap. So this is what I think I'm weak in counting. So every time, if the coach also, if you are doing like 2,000, he has to be also count. Sometimes I confuse. I just want to continue. Say, no, you have to stop. So this is the weakness. So I lose the trophy because of my weakness. I didn't count the lap. So that's why I missed the trophy. Yeah.
Okay, next year.
I hope.
Now, Marcos, could you imagine in mid-June that Domnic would qualify for the Diamond League finals and come very close to winning?
It's a good question. If he would have the possibility to do all the Diamond Leagues before, okay. But the problem was we did not get the chance, so he did not get the chance to run the good and fast races the time before. So we stayed in Switzerland for the last 2.5 years. We did not have any way to prove how fast he can run. I knew that he can run 7:38 on the 3K. That he was running 7:29, even surprised myself. So this was very nice to see. But after Stockholm, I knew now it's time to show his talent. And after the training camp and Stockholm, we knew now it's time to qualify for the final. We only need another good race. And he proved his shape in Brussels and in Monaco. And it was amazing to see him on his home ground here in Zurich, running. Okay, 1 lap missing, but he will do it next year.
Yeah, no, definitely. Now, there's another interesting comment from the Monaco interview. And let's hear what Domnic told us there.
So you took a tough decision, but now you are really proving that it was a right decision and you are achieving your dream of being a top athlete.
Yeah, I think to me it is always when I took this decision, because most of the people, they said now when you stay in Europe, you are not going to make it. Every day you will get everything, you will forget your dream. And also the athletes there, they talk, they say, this guy when he stayed there, he will not going to continue. So to me, it is something when someone talk negative, I have to prove it wrong. So it is sometimes this is a good thing for me to have it. So when someone tell me you are not going to do it, so I have to work it on it and say, oh, you say I could not make it, and now I have to. Yeah.
Congratulations, Domnic, and we'll see you tomorrow after the race.
Yeah.
But I say, don't be afraid of anyone, huh?
I will not. Yeah. I think I will keep the same spirit.
So let's take another quick break now to review other recent athletics events, starting with cross country. On 23 October, the Cross International Zornoza took place in Amorebieta, Spain. Burundi's Rodrigue Quizera, last year's World Cross Tour winner, started off this season's campaign as he had left off with a win. Second was Italy's Ilias Awani, and third, Uruguay's Santiago Catrofe. In the women's race, home athlete Isabella Barreira took the win ahead of Burundi's Cavalin Nahimana in 23:20 and compatriot Cristina Espejo. On the same day in Poland, the cross-country Bydgoszcz na Start took place. Women's race saw victory for Lucy Mawia, who was second in the standings of the 2021-2022 World Cross Tour. 16-year-old Ethiopian Sion Abebe, who took silver at this year's World Under-20 Championships over 3,000 meters, and Kenya's 18-year-old Maureen Cherotich, a World Under-20 finalist over 5,000 in both 21 and 22, completed the podium. On the men's side, Kenya's 19-year-old Levi Kibet, the 2021 World Under-20 bronze medalist, took the win ahead of Bahrain's Birhanu Balev and Uganda's Joel Ayeko. And finally, excellent under-18 performances from stadium events. In Potchefstroom, South Africa, Armand de Waalt clocked 20:32 for an African under-18 200-meter best, climbing to number 4 in the all-time list. But let's get back to our guest. Marcos, what do you think is Domnic's top quality?
He is very focused. Running is his life. And he is never complaining.
And the aspect on which he has to work the most?
Strength. Realize that recovery is part of training. And even after Stockholm, it maybe sounds strange, but speed.
Okay. Now, Domnic, you also competed in road races, including 4 half marathons this year, and did very well in the last one in Copenhagen in September. Do you enjoy running on track or road more?
It's a good question, but it's hard to answer. I think I prefer more track than road race. So I have to build more on the track before I move to the road race. But this is just part of it's part of the training also. Sometimes I just go, let me go there for the experience to see what will be happening if I go. If I took the journey for the road races. But I prefer more track.
Okay. Now, Marcus, what is Domnic's training regime? Can you give us not the whole program, but can you give us an idea?
This is always a teamwork. This is what we had to work on it a lot because he thought that I'm going to tell him what he has to do and he just does it. And it took a lot of time till he realized I need to know how does he feel, how much can I push him. But it's quite simple. Twice a week we are working on the track, on the road, like with interval. One time we're doing a long run, try to increase the speed at the end, and the rest is filled up with strength, recovery, and if he's comfortable with some endurance runs.
Mm-hmm. So Marcus, Domnic has competed at distances from 1500 to half marathon this year. What do you think is the distance where he can achieve the best results?
I think on every distance. It's like he's really fast on the 3K, and because he's still young, he really can improve there. Possible to get very close to the world record in 2 years. 7:20 is not so far away, but he also likes to run the half marathon. But to get on the longer distance, he still has enough time. So I really appreciate that he likes to run on the track. This is also my favorite place. So we will improve especially on the 5K. I think this is what he's gonna look for to improve next year.
Okay. And Marcos, can you tell us something about your training group in St. Gallen? You said it was a bit of a team work that you do together on his training.
Yeah, so the team in St. Gallen I'm coaching the team since 12 years. I started running myself here when I was 13 years. Then no one was coaching the team. So when I retired by doing the running, so I decided, okay, let's give these guys and girls a chance. We are up to 20, 25 runners, but no one is on the level like Domnic. But he still shows up, does training with them, laughing a lot, joining the team, pushing them, and they like to push him as well, maybe on the last lap. And yeah, we're working. It's nice to have him there, and also nice to have the team supporting him a lot in the last 3 years.
Domnic, is there any athlete in the group or in general in athletics with whom you are particularly close?
Oh. No, I don't think if I have the one, but all of them. Because I think all of them, I'm closer to all of them. Because it's a group, it's a teamwork also, it's like a family. So we all work together. So we help each other. So that's why we all work like a family.
Great, thank you. No favoritisms. Thank you, Domnic. Thank you, Marcus. So we'll be back with you very soon, but wanted to take a look now as the athletic season comes to a close. Countries and continental associations are announcing their Athlete of the Year nominations. The European Athletics Athletes of the Year, we had looked at the nominees at the finalists on the last show, and winners were announced at the Golden Track Awards on 22 October. So the female athlete of the year was Dutch hurdler 400-meter runner Femke Bolle. Bolle really had an amazing season. She was a World Indoor Championship silver medalist in the 400 meters and in the 4x400 relay. She set a world best of 36.86 over the rarely contested 300-meter hurdles. At the World Championship, she was a silver medalist in the hurdles behind the amazing Sydney McLaughlin. And this was the only time Boll was beaten this year at her specialist event. At the European Championships, she achieved a fabulous triple gold, 400 flat, 400 hurdles, and 400 relay. And she was a Diamond League final winner. And her versatility this year is why I chose a photo of the relay to illustrate her amazing year. Femke spoke after the win about how her compatriots Daphne Schippers and Sifan Hassan had inspired her. First, as she followed Schippers as a child, when the sprinter was among the very best in the world and a huge star. And then Sifan Hassan's epic challenge, contesting the 1500, 5000, and 10,000 at the Tokyo Olympics and coming close to winning them all, made her also want to push her own boundaries. The Male Athlete of the Year award was jointly assigned to Mondo Duplantis and Jakob Ingebrigtsen, who had already tied in 2018 for the European Rising Star Award. We had looked at Mondo's 2022 stunning stats on the last show, and here they are. Mondo improved the world record 3 times, bringing it to 6 meters 19 indoors, then 6:20 also indoors, and 6:21 outdoors. He won at the World Indoor and Outdoor Championships, setting world records on both occasions. Mondo jumped 6 meters or higher, a total of 15 events this year, 7 times indoor, 8 times outdoor, the highest total ever. And to put it in context, only Chris Nielsen cleared 6 meters this year. He did it twice, 6:02 and 6:05, both indoors. Duplantis won 18 of his 19 competitions in 2022, and he now has a total of 54 jumps in his career over 6 meters, passing the great Sergei Bubka, who has 46. On his part, Ingebrigtsen also had a great year. He set the world indoor record over 500. Then he was silver in the 1500 meters at both the indoor championships and the outdoor championships, before winning 5,000 meter gold in Oregon. At the European Championships, he had a double gold in the 15 and the 5,000 and was a Diamond League finals winner over 1,500. However, given the stats, I must admit, I'm honestly a little bit surprised that Duplantis and Ingebrigtsen are sharing the European Athletes of the Year award. But the beauty of these polls is that they're always subjective, so not everyone will agree. Congratulations to Femke, Mondo, and Jakob. The 2022 European Rising Star Awards went to 2 athletes who were both 19-year-olds when they won senior titles at the European Championships this summer. Greece's javelin thrower Elina Genko, after a disappointing World Championship debut, dominated her event in Munich, winning by over 4 meters over 18-year-old Adriana Vilagos and legendary Barbara Spotakova, who concluded her glorious career with another major medal, aged 41. On the men's side, Lithuania's discus thrower Mykolas Alekna had already taken silver at the World Championships in Oregon and moved up to top of the podium in Munich, setting a championship record in far from ideal conditions and against a loaded field, defeating all 3 Olympic medalists, as well as the most consistent athlete of this year, Slovenia's Christian Tse. An impressive season for the son of legendary Virgilius Alekna, the double Olympic and double world champion. And this was the first time throwers took both titles, and both were the youngest athletes to ever win the European Championships in their event. Congratulations to Elina and Mykolas. But let's return now to our guests for the final part of the interview. So Domnic, actually this is for both Domnic and Marcos, because Marcos, you mentioned that Domnic could only start traveling the latter part of the Diamond League season. So can you tell us what the situation is concerning travels from Switzerland to competitions in other countries?
The situation changed in June. We really worked hard on it to get Domnic a chance to travel to the competitions. Before, we had to ask the Swiss migration government only to leave the country and even to come back for like 2 days, 3 days. And sometimes this took like 3 weeks, 4 weeks to ask. So this is not easy if you have a chance to run somewhere and it takes 4 weeks to get the permission. And since June, Domnic gets the Visum L in Switzerland. That means that he's like a self-employed athlete who is allowed with his status to leave Switzerland and travel in the area of Schengen. So for all the races here in Europe, he's fine now. He can participate for the next year and come back safe to Switzerland without any problems.
That's great. That will be a big help for the next season. Mm-hmm.
Huge help, yeah. Just to explain something, before he left for Stockholm, he was leaving Tuesday. The visa to leave, we got Monday, 3:00 in the afternoon. We did not know till then, can he leave or not? So the problem to get there was much more, taking the energy much more than just seeing him running. So as soon as he's in the start line, I'm fine. You know, he's doing his job now, he's gonna win and this is okay. But to bring him there was always many problems.
Yeah. Fantastic. Now, one thing I noticed is that kit supplier On always continued to support Domnic after he left Kenya. On was always there by his side, and I think this is important for you.
That was for me. Yeah, I think it's a good thing. I think when I was living, the time I leave Kenya, so I was like 2019 and 2020, the end of 2020. Then I met them again. So they started helping me from 2020, I think in March. So up to now.
Maybe I'm allowed to explain the situation. This is what we talk about the team. One of the founder, I was competing against him when he was young. He was an athlete as well, so I know him. He only lives 10 km away from my house, and his nephew is part of the team. Domnic is in, so he showed up at the race to see his nephew running. And then he saw Domnic smashing the course record by 1 minute. So he called me and said, "Is this Domnic? I know him from the camp 3 years ago. How did he come to your team?" So he realized Domnic and said, "Okay, we have to help him out with the clothes, everything." And so this is how the story goes on and on.
Okay, that's great. No, it's really, so it was almost by accident that they realized it was the same Domnic.
Yeah.
No, I really like the company because they really care about their athletes. This is the impression I always had with them when I met them because they were supporting the refugee team almost from the start in the Bahamas. In the World Relays, we had to improvise. We didn't have kit for them, but immediately after they started producing a special line for the athlete refugee team, and I was really happy to see that they continued to support Domnic once he was in Switzerland. So, Marcus, what are your expectations for Domnic in 2023?
My expectations, running faster, doing his winning dance as often as possible, and keep his smile.
Domnic, can we see your winning dance?
One more thing. Yeah, sorry. For sure, it would be, I wish for Domnic that we find a way that he can show his talent on the big stage, that we find a speech to World Athletics, to the IOC, that he really gets a chance to be part of the championships and that he can prove that as a refugee, or that where he stays now, that he can run fast and that he can win the medal he really dreams of. This is the biggest wish.
Yeah, that would be absolutely amazing. That would be the most important thing because he has the talent and it's just a matter of being given the opportunity. So that is really, really important. That I agree with you. That's the biggest goal for you with Domnic. Now, Domnic, what are you hoping to achieve next year?
To improve my time.
Mm-hmm.
I think these are more important things, to improve the time, and also maybe to, if I can get chance also to try this World Championship. So these are the two things that I have it in my mind for now.
And Domnic, what would you tell a young athlete who has a dream to become an elite runner?
I think not to give up with whatever they are doing. You know, this life is harder, but sometimes if you committed that much, you will achieve what you are looking for. But if sometimes you you say, no, you have two options. Say, I can do this if this one is not working. Then sometimes you lose it. So it's better you focus. If you take the decision, say, this is what I'm looking for, I want to get this thing, I think everything is possible. You can get it. So for them, I like to tell them to continue to do whatever they are doing. In future, they will get whatever they want. The fruit are in front. We plant the tree, the time that is growing. So you plant the tree, you wait, you need the fruit. So the tree cannot grow up with the fruit. So you have to wait until he reach the top. When you say, I'm not growing up again. So that is the only thing that's the time that you wait to eat the fruit. So the running also is the same way. So you start from training, but if you get that time that you say, this is it, if you commit that much, then you will get the fruit also there. So to me, I would like to tell them to keep pushing and continue that with that spirit. That's all of it.
Thank you, Domnic. And your story really shows that you never gave up, and you always believed in yourself and believed that you would achieve this dream of becoming an elite athlete. So thank you, Domnic. Thank you, Marcus. Let's look now at upcoming events as we reach the end of our show. So on 4 to 6 November, World Mountain Running and Trail Championships take place in Chiang Mai, Thailand. On 6 November, the New York City Marathon, the last of the World Marathon Majors. On the same day, Istanbul Marathon, and 4 World Elite Marathons in China, which had not been able to stage events for a long time. So Beijing, Wuxi, Changsha, and Xi'an. Also on 6 November, Cross Internacional de Soria in Spain, World Cross Tour event. And on 12 and 13 November, another World Cross Tour event in Spain in Atapuerca. So we're now at the end of our program. It was brilliant having Domnic and Marcus with us on the show.
Thank you a lot. Goodbye.
So it was really lovely to have you on the show. Thank you so much, Domnic. Thank you, Marcos. And thank you all for watching. And we'll be looking closely. Domnic is starting his 2021-2022 campaign in Geneva, also on the 6th of November. So we'll check out that result, and then we'll check out the whole season. Thank you. See
Thank
you
you.
soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Ciao.